Okay, so now we move from the shadow shape to the light shape, and this will be the first pass for the light shape because there will be another pass where I come back in. And so this is just one value I pre-mixed. It's a value very close to the lightest light, but slightly just one step darker, and with a mixture of more gray than blue. And by that I mean it's more gray in comparison to the value I would be putting in the sky, which is quite blue. But I decided that the two values are very similar, and I decided that because when you look at on the right hand side between the blue sky and the sea of clouds, the gray, when you squint you almost cannot see a line between them. So to simplify things, then the two of them are the same, are basically very similar value, so we'll just leave them at that, except that there's a difference between the hue, which is more blue and more chromatic blue, and the light value in the cloud is slightly warmer towards gray. So along the way with putting in the light shape, at the same time we are refining, so painting in and out, cutting away from the dark shadow shape that we put in earlier. So this is also a good time to refine the drawing again once more. And there are places where I allow the light blend with the shadow shape. I'm not too worried about that because there are places where it's very soft and I don't mind the blending of it. But when you're blending, be careful not to blend everywhere, because first of all, you would have more of a chance to mix all the colors together that you don't want, and then it will turn out to be rather muddy, or it will start losing any form. So there are places where it has structure, then when we start blending, often we forget the structure and we make everything round. So everything is round and there's nothing sharp or angular anymore. Then that also lose a little bit of that solidity in the form. So this is a sketch. So basically when we're doing our drawing practices in pencil or in painting, when we're aiming for practicing the observation and we are observing all the shapes really closely, and then we are redrawing them all the time. Here I'm not redrawing everything all the time, and I'm not too worried about copying the shape exactly. I'm more using that method as a helper when I feel like things are really out of whack. And otherwise, also for a subject like cloud, you have quite a lot of freedom. So even if it's not exactly the right shape or the proportion is wrong, then it's still, if you get the big shapes roughly right in the right place, it probably will look very much like the cloud. But as when you're in comparison to when you're doing a portrait, then and you want that portrait to look like that person, then it becomes quite crucial to get the right shapes, observing all the right shapes, observing all the shapes and then copying them as close as you can. So you have a bit of freedom in terms of using the size tool, or simply just using the method of observing shapes and copying shapes. So basically I've only used, this is only the second value I've used, so the shadow value we had earlier, and now I'm putting everything in light with this one value. I'm not using any other mixture except the transition from shadow to light area, where I have actually blended the shadow value with the light value. Then I'm actually creating quite a few different values, but in general this is one value. I think I'm having questions and second thought about this area because when I'm squinting, if I squint right now and look at my reference video, it actually looks closer to the shadow, but it's also rather a plane that receives light. So I think I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna come back to it later. So now here you can see that when I put in the sky value that I mixed, also pre-mixed, and it kind of blends into the light value with the cloud that I just put in. So they're basically the same value, except that the chroma is quite different. So it's a stronger chroma in blue. So it's got quite a lot of fresh blue, and the other and the value in the cloud, it's closer to gray. And in comparison, the cloud looks warmer. The cloud value looks warmer in comparison to the value of the sky. I'm putting in more of the cloud because I forgot earlier. I somehow ignored it.